Hey, this is Mike at Riverview Turfworks. Got a small little landscape maintenance job we're going to be doing today. I'll go over and show you a quick before and after video here. So over here on this side we're not doing too much. Going over the shrubs with the trimmer, pulling the weeds, pulling this guy out of the bed. This side over here has a little bit more going on. Pulling the weeds out of all the beds. The crepe myrtles. Going to have the new growth trimmed off the bottom 4 or 5 feet. One thing you need to be aware of with crepe myrtles is if you want them to bloom, you need to make sure you trim them January or February generally. But it's okay to trim the new growth off, like this stuff down here, any time of the year. That won't affect the blooming at all. I'm going to trim all the boxwoods, all the other shrubs, both of these beds. This Japanese maple is going to have the canopy raised just a little bit on it. And we're also going to get it off of this crepe myrtle. The cedar over here, we're going to trim the lower branches out of the yard so that it stays inside the flower bed. We're going to trim this branch off the crepe myrtle. This tree over here, we're going to do just a standard canopy lift on it, as well as trim it off of the cedar. And because we're doing that, we're probably going to have to trim a little bit off this side as well to kind of balance it and make it symmetrical on both sides. That's about it. Show you the finished product here in a little bit. Here's a little bit of the waste from the job so you can have a little bit of an idea of how much was actually trimmed. I've got everything trimmed up right now. All that needs to be done is the debris cleaned around from all the hedges and weeds pulling out of the bed. Alright, so here's the finished product. We ended up trimming just a few low-hanging branches off this guy right here as well. You can see the difference on this big tree as well as this little cedar over here. We had to take quite a bit off this guy, but it turned out looking pretty good. It came out pretty symmetrical on both sides. The cedar we ended up having to trim quite a bit off to get it on the right side to get it off of the crepe myrtle. And the only way for us to make it look symmetrical was to trim some of the lower hanging branches off the left side. We didn't want to do that, but that's the only way to get it looking decent. Over here we did go ahead and put a little grass seed down. Should have quite a bit more sunlight coming through, so hopefully some of this bare dirt area over here should be able to grow a little grass now. Got the azaleas all trimmed up, everything else trimmed up as well. Got all the weeds pulled out of all the beds. You can see we got all the new growth off the crepe myrtles. So now there's only new growth on top where it should be. Somebody has topped these crepe myrtles in the past, so they're not going to grow back quite right, but it's not really you can do anything about them right now other than ripping them out and starting all over. We did not put new mulch down, so what we did is we came in with a rake and just kind of turned the mulch over, and it was all kind of faded looking gray like that. So we turned it over and kind of mixed up the faded side with the darker black side, and it looks quite a bit darker, quite a bit better. Again, we pretty much just trimmed up all the shrubs, pulled all the weeds in the bed, crepe myrtles. We lifted the canopy on this guy just a little bit and then got it off of the crepe myrtle. Lifted the canopy on this guy as well over there in the yard, so wouldn't be hitting you in the head when you're mowing. Lifted the canopy on this tree and pruned the branches that were about the lower 12 foot or so that were crossing each other on the inside of the tree. Ended up lifting the canopy a little bit on that cedar. We didn't touch this guy. Trimmed all these. Couldn't do much with these boxwoods other than trim them back to the shape they were in, because as you can see they're having a little bit of issue. Trimmed those, pulled the dead one out that was over there. We were able to get boxwoods off the house. Made quite a bit of a difference. But yep, that's pretty much it. When we do jobs like this without putting new mulch in, we can't clean the mulch out 100%, so we end up getting about, I don't know, I'd say 90-95% of all the trimmings out, as well with the weeds. Trimmings will turn dead here in a week or so, and then you won't ever see them after that.